Over the past few years, I have heard many leading experts describing China's tech crackdown as the Chinese government's deliberate assault on private businesses, seeing it as another example of the Chinese Communist Party trying to expand its control in the private economy. As a law professor, I was quite surprised by these comments, as they seem to completely ignore the deep-seated regulatory problems facing the tech industry. In this book, I challenge this common perception and expose the serious regulatory challenges in China's tech sector. And let's be fair, the Chinese tech firms are not the only ones to blame here. In many instances, it is the government's inaction and administrative abuses that led to much of the chaos we observe today. And despite many heavy-handed interventions, many of the remedies have come too little and too late. The problem here is not whether regulation is necessary. There is a clear demand for China to regulate and to govern its tech giants, just like how Europe and the United States are similarly tightening scrutiny over tech firms like Google, Facebook, and Amazon. The problem is how China regulates. In my book, I introduced the dynamic pyramid model to analyze China's regulatory system. I describe its regulatory structure as a pyramid, its regulatory process is very volatile, and the regulatory outcome tends to be fragile. So applying the remedy to address a problem often provokes another problem, leaving the Chinese policymakers in a constant game of a whack-a-mole as they try to deal with ongoing regulatory crisis. As we see from China's tech crackdown, this move has wiped out trillions of dollars market cap from China's largest tech giants, while severely undermining investor confidence. So although the headlines about Jack Ma and the tech crackdown may have taken the world by surprise, my book shows it's actually perfectly consistent with the long-standing pattern in China's regulatory governance. To illustrate this, I also applied this model to analyze some of the biggest policy challenges China has faced in recent years. These include the COVID-19 pandemic control, the 2021 energy crisis, the ongoing property crackdown, and China's demographic crisis. The dynamic pyramid model is not only useful for examining the past, but also helpful for predicting the future, particularly surrounding the big question of how China will regulate AI. Contrary to the popular perception that Chinese regulation will constrain its AI development, my prediction is that regulation will be more lax than it seems. Another view I want to debunk in the book is that Chinese regulation is always bad for businesses. This is an overtly simplistic view. As I will show you through a lot of statistical evidence, the Chinese court has spent tremendous resources helping tech firms resolve online disputes in order to prop up the industry. But Western observers tend to ignore this enabling aspect of the Chinese law. And let's not forget, the Chinese tech firms themselves are savvy and fiercely competitive. They have been actively engaged in lobbying, innovating, and adapting in order to survive and thrive in China's unique institutional environment. In the coming months, I will be touring around the world to share ideas about this book. I look forward to seeing you at one of these events and hearing your thoughts once you have a chance to read it.